Hello, I think we can start. Thank you everybody for coming. Today, this is not going to be the same format as we've had last week or as the kind of events that we usually have that cover a certain specific topic in depth. This is going to be an intro and an update for the existing customers that are present here. About the capabilities of Social Links Pro within Maltego. We're not going to showcase I2 Analyst Notebook today. We're going to focus on the product-based methodologies that we have internally, which means our understanding of utilizing the solution in particular use cases, and on the machines that can be built within Maltego, the custom scripts for automation of the potentially repetitive scenarios, second-degree automation. The first one we have shown partially during the last event with Mr. Andrei Vladescu. This is one of the most widely spread use cases across the multiple customer segments that we have, where the task at hand is to gather data about the digital footprint of a certain individual, which means working with full spectrum of their individual identifiers in the fullest way possible, going as deep as it is possible into their social media presence, and using customized search queries within conventional search engines. This can be done for background checks, for researching an individual during an investigation, which can be in the context of PI or law enforcement work, or when, for instance, conducting due diligence. We will start with the inputs where the initial point is an identifier such as a phone or an email. So here you can see the machines window within the Maltego client. There are some that are available by default in a standard commercial license and in community edition as well, that have been developed long ago by Mr. Roelof Temming, the individual who has founded initially Peterba and developed this product initially with his team. They're much more focused on working with network objects, on doing DNS intelligence and the like. We have built some more simple ones that allow a user, and especially a user that is new to our specific software, to our specific extension, to enrich phones, emails, pivot from IP addresses, and build a social graph of an individual based on their content within either Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. So here we're going to take the first entity, which would be an email, and show first very simple example that will use one of those scripts. So there's a number of transforms here that we can see. Some of them are standard Social Links Pro transforms. Some of them are the standard Maltego transforms, or from the other extensions available in the Partner Hub. Some of those are available if you're using anything on top of Social Links Pro, which would mean the Darkal extension or the Social Links Telegram pack. We will first try to see what kind of social media presence is associated with this specific email address. So as we can see in the machines window and in the output window, we're running transforms to see whether this email has been used for accounts within Gravatar, Facebook, Discord, Skype, potentially any CIS-based mail services, such as mail.ru or list.ru, and LinkedIn, as well as the social links inner database that can be particularly efficient when used in conjunction with our social media related endpoints. So far, what we see is Gravatar, the Google ID, account in Flickr, account in Skype, an output from Google based on searching by this email, the alias which has been extracted from this address. So the transforms can be split into two categories: those that fetch data from specific source and those that process data that is already present in the graph, which may include converting it to another entity or extracting something out of its property fields. Also, we can see the fact of accounts having been registered within Discord and Facebook, but not the accounts themselves in this instance. The profile within LinkedIn, the publicly available details about which can be seen here in the corresponding panel. So the name, alias, occupation, location, industry, and general description of the profile, with links leading to that specific source, and the first degree extraction of the general details from the account. And on the left, we can see gray person entities that reference the social links inner database that has aggregated more than 10 billion strings at this point, up to 2023. The oldest ones date as far back as 2009, from what I know. Here, the other objects in the string that have been extracted are an IP address and a postcode and a general location of Phoenix, Arizona. Now we will go through another example with using a machine to run transforms for building an individual social graph. We will do so first with Facebook. This account has been used in a demonstration of one of the new features that we have developed as part of our package for natural language processing. In this instance, we have two Facebook accounts. We can see a long list of transforms that will fetch various types of data that is publicly available within this account on the platform itself. The data is pulled real time, so it's not something that is stored on any kind of our database. The way that we will see anything now is the same way as it is on Facebook itself, on the account of this specific individual at the moment when we run the transform. What we see so far are the posts, photos, and videos of this account, and also some of the ones that they have been tagged in by other users. As the second degree, we get the comments to those posts and the accounts that have reacted to them. As you can see, if an account that is produced as an output from a search on one entity is also produced from a search on another entity, both of the links are generated automatically within this specific UI. So next, we will take those Facebook comments, and from each of those, get the author, reactions, and replies to them. Next, in the instance that we don't want to limit ourselves to researching the account of the user on just one platform, we can see if they're present on other ones, of course. A quick way to find those other accounts would be to use our facial recognition engine that is proprietary to search for their presence based on the face and name within this Facebook profile. So far, what we have found are 2 accounts within Instagram, one profile within LinkedIn, and one within Twitter. One of the Instagram accounts has a much lower probability rate of a facial match than the other one, but we will still keep it. Perhaps we will find some kind of intersection in their followers, followees, or the people that have reacted to their posts or previously tagged them. So now we will launch a script that will work in a very similar way to the Facebook one that will build a content graph of this individual within Twitter in this instance. Once the full output is produced, we will take all of those entities to a separate graph and try running sentiment analysis transforms on the tweets. If we want to get a certain idea about an average background of an individual in somebody's social set, then we can choose all of the accounts or a portion of accounts within their network in a given platform and run a transform, in this case, Twitter get details, to extract entities such as stated locations from within the profiles. Now, from each of the tweets that we have within this graph, and this logic is quite applicable to any piece of content, as you have seen with Facebook, within LinkedIn and Instagram as well. We can get, apart from the offer, the used hashtags, likers, mentioned profiles, replies, and retweeters. Now we will somewhat repeat the demonstration of one of the features which we have showcased in our previous webinar with Mr. Andrei Vladescu. That is the evaluation of the sentiment within social media content and the detection of toxic and or offensive language and hate speech within the content. My apologies to the attendees. We're having a small difficulty here on our side. We will turn this off for approximately 1 minute, and then we will start over and follow the initial logic of today's topic. In the meantime, while we're restarting, please feel free to ask any questions into the chat. We will be glad to answer them. So yes, now we're back, and we're going to cover two other categories of sources that can be used when we're researching an individual and when we're starting from a social media account as the first input. We've gone through an example with Twitter. Now we will go by the same logic with LinkedIn. Within LinkedIn, the kind of data that we can fetch from a personal account are the general user details, such as their education, professional experience, etc. The endorsers, their posts, the posts that they have commented on, and the posts that they have liked. The script that we're launching now will first get all of those categories of posts and then get all of the users that have interacted with them in any way. So either liked or commented them. From each of the comments under the posts, we can also, in turn, get the author, likers, repliers, and replies. If a customer is using this specific extension, BNLP1, then it would also be possible, of course, to build a custom machine on our site for the customer to use to create a scenario of first gathering the content related to a specific account, and then based on that content, evaluating the sentiment, the tone of voice within it, extracting the named entities from the text, and detecting potential hate speech or offensive language within it. That would work with the sentiment in the same way that you can see within this selection. So we see the neutral entity with total of 8 incoming links, positive with 18, and negative with 12. Another category of data that we can use when researching an individual is a number of corporate registries. One of those that covers entities worldwide would be Open Corporates. Several other ones would be the British Companies House for UK-based entities, the ICIJ Offshore Leagues database for mostly island jurisdictions, such as British Virgin Islands, Seychelles, Cyprus, and so on, Sanctions Explorer, and OCCRP Aleph. If we start our search from a company, we first get those corporate entities from which we can further extract the general details, such as the physical addresses and officers related to the company. Then, afterwards, we can launch a transform to get the details about the resulting produced officer entities. This can tell us whether certain people are also related to a specific physical address and whether they are currently active or inactive within this given organizational entity, according to Open Corporates as a source. Another kind of extension that it would be possible to use on top of the standard core functionality is darkal. Where we can search based on individual names, user handles, phone numbers, email addresses, IP addresses, and domain names in the full spectrum of the sources that are collectively known as the dark web, commonly. In the instance with Social Links Pro, we would be limited to the Tor network, and the principle of working with those kinds of objects would be quite similar to building a social graph within Facebook in principle, which we will showcase in a few minutes. Whereas darkal also covers other networks such as I2P, Freenet, and ZeroNet. We will showcase this now on an example of this domain name, creditswiss.com. Within the output that we get, we can see data related to the specific query, which was our input. We can see the source, we can see the network, and we can see the timestamp. Now, if we want perhaps to get access to the full data set in question, we can choose a transform to get the details. And to get the entities from the snippet that we can see after the first iteration. This here is an example of a snippet. And this an example of the full data set for which we are running a query, where the piece of data that containing the initial input is also present. In the next example, we will show how to work with cryptocurrency data and dark web data. Here we took the default value entity for a Bitcoin address within Maltego. We ran a transform darknet search Bitcoin wallet to see where has it been mentioned on the Tor network sources available to us. We see a post, the entity containing the specific domain, the topic URL, the text, the timestamp, the user alias and URL. From that, we can extract the entities, which would include the thread and the user. What I meant when I was saying that working with Tor network sources as part of a standard package of Social Links Pro is that from each of the threads here, we can get the posts and the users. If we want perhaps to see whether this user is present on other dark web sources, we can run a cross search based on their alias with this transform here, darknet search users. And next convert those entities to the source domain and get their P2P open key. And in case of a source being a marketplace, we will search not for posts, but for the product positions. From PGP Open Keys, it is in some instances possible to go to the used email address. And from the products, we can extract the location entity stated within the properties to be a place where the products are shipped to or shipped from. Now, from the address itself, we can get its current balance and the other addresses that have interacted with it within a specific blockchain. And now we will also go through a brief example of using a machine, the same kind of script that we've used for social media and for enriching phones and emails within the context of dark web research. Here we will also go from aliases. In this instance, we have found one account on the Dread forum with 2 posts that go to 2 separate threads and several accounts on marketplaces, one of them stating the Italian country code as within the user details, and the shipping info pointing to Italy being the source location and worldwide, so potentially every other possible country, as the location where the product can potentially be shipped to. Please tell us whether there are currently any questions on the functionality of our products and on how they can be implemented into your specific work. This was a brief overview of the functionality based on real-world but sample data. If you would like more specific conversation tailored to your needs within the industry, or a proof of concept based on the data that you would like to work with, that you would like to further deepen with the use of our solution, be it social media, network objects, or potentially a dark web object or something within the corporate domain, then you can book a demo and we will discuss this in more detail with you in an individual manner. The booking link has been posted by my colleague into the chat of the webinar. And so far, this would be all on our side for today's brief session. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. And we wish you a good remainder of the day and a good weekend. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.